Okay, you got the Growatt 3000. Gonna take it out of the box and see if there's any damage. Okay, there's the box. Came packed really well. There's the instruction manual and a CD. There's the two cables. We'll get the inverter out of there. See if there's any damage. There's the Growatt out of the box. Insulated really well against damage. Box has extra cardboard in the corners, so it's backed really well. Here is a Growatt 3000 watt inverter. There's all the inspection stickers. It's a Growatt SPF 3000 TL LVM-48P. It's a 48 volt DC input and 120 volt AC output. Maximum AC input is 40 amps, and the maximum AC charge current is 40 amps. So there's a bracket there and there, and that's the doorway. So it's open on the back side. They're aluminum brackets, and that's where I'm going to mount the Growatt. There's the post for mounting all the positive leads. There's the Battle-Born batteries. There's 4 of them connected together, 4 12 volters, 48 volt. Gives me 100 amp hours per string. Makes 300 amp hours. And I'll go up there. And they come through the battery box. Goes to the switch. And goes up into the Growatt. The Growatt will be powering the garage, and the Ames powers the house. You can see the Ames is on a piece of plywood, and the Growatt, because it's recommended not to be put against anything that is flammable. I have it mounted kind of like in an airspace. That's an aluminum bar there, an aluminum bar there, and there's air all around it, and that should help keep it cool. Growatt is now hooked up with the batteries, the black being neutral, red being the positive. That's number 4 gauge wire, which is what they require. The switch is good for 60 volts. This is a 48 volt system. It's good for 275 amps, I believe it is. On this side is the AC output. This here is a 40 amp circuit breaker. Those are a number 8 wire. They're separated so I can get a meter on there. I have 2 circuits, one for each one of the receptacles. They're 20 amp circuit breakers. Program 1, if you want it to charge right away, put utility first. Then you'll start charging your batteries. If you have the SBU, it'll only start charging once the batteries reach the minimum set point. To get to the programs, push enter and hold. Well, one is flashing, and it's on UT1. And the UT1 is utility. That's why when the power came on, it started charging. If you set it at SBU, which is solar energy charging, it'll only charge when the batteries get down to the set point. This is set point 1. Push the down button. It goes to 2. Program 2 for maximum charging current, and I have a 48 volt system, and the default is 60, and that's where I have it. I left it at 60 amps. So push down again. This is program 3. This is the setting for the AC input voltage range. What range do you want it? Default is the APL. I set it at UPS, which is a narrower range. It's a range of 95 to 140 volts. You also have a choice of a generator, which would be 65 volts to 140 volts. But my generator will put out 120 volts pretty good. So program 3 I have set at UPS. Push the down button, go to program 4. Program 4 is a power saving. Default is off, and that's where I have it. So we'll just leave that. Hit the down button again. This is program 5, battery type. Because I'm using Battle-Born batteries, I have it at user, set for user, USE. If you want to change it, you hit enter button. It flashes over to give you your choices. Push the up or down button. When you're done, hit enter. Once you have the program flashing, it'll be flashing 05 because that's where you're at. You want to go down to program 6. Hit the down button. Now you're in program 6. This is auto restart. I'm not going to have a generator with auto restart, so I'm going to leave it disabled. That's where the default is. So I'm going to push the down button, go to program 7. Program 7, auto restart. Here again, I'm not going to have a generator. So we're going to go ahead and hit the down button, go to program 8. Program 8 is for the voltage output. I'm going to run 120 volt output. You have a choice of 120, 110, or 100 volt. Default is 120. I'm going to leave it there. So push the down button, go to program 9. Okay, we have program 9 flashing. This will tell you if you want either 50 hertz or 60 hertz. Default is 60 hertz, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So hit the down button, go to number 10. Program 10, that's the number of batteries you have in a series. Seeing as I'm using Battle-Born batteries, and because I'm in user-defined battery type, the number 4 that's there doesn't mean anything. Just go ahead and leave it. Go down to program 11. Program 11 is the maximum utility charge current. Now you can have it go anywhere from 10 amps to 40 amps. That's your selection. Default is 30 amps, and that's where I'm going to leave it for now. So I'm not changing it, so just hit the down button, go to 12. Program 12. Okay, program 12 is for solar first in program 1. If you've got program 1 solar first selected, then you can set this, and you can set it somewhere between 44 volts and 51.2 volts. The default is 46 volts, and this is the setting point for when it'll go back to the utilities. So when the batteries get this low, then utilities will take over. I'm going to leave it at 46. Program 13, this is the setting voltage point for when it goes back to the batteries. So once it charges up, and this is only if you're in solar first program, program 1, solar first. So if you're there, you have a choice of setting it between 48 volts and 58 volts. Default is 54 volts. I'm going to leave it there at 54 volts. Hit the down button, go to program 14. Program 14 gives you what you want the inverter to do first. Solar energy to charge the battery first, or you want utilities to charge batteries first, or you want solar energy and utilities both to charge. I have it utilities will charge the batteries first. Going down, now we're on 15. That's the alarm control. Default is on. I'm going to leave it on. Go down 16. That's the backlight control. Default is on. I'm going to leave it on. Go down 17. It'll beep when the primary source is interrupted. Default is on. I'm going to leave 17 on. Going down to 18. That's the overload bypass. Bypass disabled is the default, and I'm going to leave it that way. So I'm going to hit down again to 19. 19 is bulk charge, and you have to have selected self-defined in program 5. This is where you can set what bulk charge you want depending on what kind of batteries you have. 48 volt model, you can set it between 48 volts and 58.4 volts. Default is 56.4. I'm going to leave it there. Going down to program 20. Program 20 is the float charge. Here again, you have to have selected self-defined in program 5, user-defined. Float charge can be 48 volts to 58.4. The same as bulk. It's settable. You can set it wherever you need it. Default is 54.0. I'm going to leave it at 54.0. Down button to 21. Program 21 is low DC cutoff voltage. It's set at 42.0. I'm going to leave it there. Going down to 22. 22 is solar power balance. Default is enabled. I'm going to leave it enabled. So 23, it automatically bypasses 23 and goes to 24. 23 is if you're going to do a parallel operation, which I am not. I don't need the 240 volts, and actually 3,000 watts I think will handle everything I do in the garage. So I'm not going to do it. Won't be in parallel. So it goes down to 24, and 24 is the neutral and ground of the AC output, and I'm going to leave it disconnected. That's what the default is. It's disabled, so you won't have the neutral and the ground connected. You hit down again and you're back to program 1. You hit escape. you're back to the main screen. If you did nothing, it automatically goes back to the main screen after a while. And that is the programs. Those are the different programs. So now I can put the main cover back on. Main cover will go there. Hides all that. I won't be hooking up the solar power right now. My solar arrays are running through Midnight Solar charge controllers. Anyways, the unit's working really well. I'm happy with it. It will charge my batteries when the sun goes down. If you have cloudy days, snowy days, and your solar doesn't charge your batteries, now you got to charge the batteries. Night's coming on, so the batteries are low. It's getting dark. How are you going to charge the batteries? You could run on a generator all night long if you needed to run your refrigerators and everything, or you can run the inverter to charge your batteries. Once the batteries are charged up, you can turn the generator off and go to bed. You don't have to have the generator run all night long. Just have the generator run long enough to charge the batteries. And if the batteries are just low, like say they're at 50%, well, my batteries won't last all night long at 50%. They typically run 100% during the day, stay 100%, and then they will start discharging around 6 o'clock and go down to maybe 20%, 25%, something like that. So if they're at 50% to start off with, I need to charge them up. And if we don't have the sunlight, then I have to charge them using the inverter. And this inverter will charge the batteries and they will hold till morning. Okay, here we have the Growatt. I'm going to plug in some tools and see how it works. First, we got this here heat gun. And now the battery's at 53.7 volts. The output is 120 volts. So we're going to turn on the heat gun. Output stayed the same, 120 volts. Push the down button. Okay, cycle through. Push the down button, cycle through. We got the heat gun going. Putting out a lot of heat. Pulling 43.5% of the load. Now with the heat gun going, going to fire up the grinder. The heat gun and the grinder going. With the heat gun and the grinder both going, it was pulling 49% of the load. Not quite half. Seems to be working just fine. So these wires here, we got the neutral, we got the hot wire, black, and we have the green wire, which is the ground wire. I have them separated like that so that I can put the meter on. Meter I'm using is a Klein. We'll set it for AC amps. And it says it's drawing 0.14 amps. 0.14 amps. And the load is 14 watts. I have a fan connected. Put it on hertz. We'll check the hertz out. Frequency. Okay, push the down button until I got to frequency. It says putting out 60 to 59.9 is what the hertz frequency is. So I have it plugged in, and we also have 59.99. Switching over to voltage, it says putting out 120.1 volts, and this is all running off the battery right now. Not sure if you can see it or not. Right here is showing the battery going through the inverter and putting out the 120 volts. The Growatt 3000. I like the fact that the main screen shows you the voltage and the output power and how it's getting there. Like right now it's showing from the battery to the inverter to the output. There's 2 breakers and 4 receptacles. There's a battery switch so I can shut the battery power off, and there's a breaker for the AC input. That is the setup. I wish the camera was a little better, but it is what it is. So if you go to Growatt247.com, there's a learning section. You can get the owner's manual, operator's manual. It has a data sheet. You can get all the information you need from them. It was $750. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. Try to answer them. If you need to know something else, maybe make a video, update a video for you. But of the different inverters that I've had, so far this is the only one that hasn't given me a problem. The Ames, both the Ames gave me problems. SunGold, a mess. I have a 6,000 watts that wouldn't even light a light bulb after an hour. I've had this for about a week now. I haven't had any problems. I'm going to run an extension cord out, plug in my tools, work outside, grinders, saws. So anyways, I'm happy with it so far. I'll do an update in a few months, let you know how it's going. But if you want to hook it up in parallel and get 240 or just more power, you can hook up to 6 of them, and which would give you 18,000 watts of power. If you go to Willpower, he has 2 of the Gowatts in parallel, and you can see how they're hooked up in parallel. He has a discount that you can use at Growatt247.com. I think the discount's like $15. Anyways, hope this video helps. When I was looking for another inverter, I come across this, and there wasn't much on it, so hopefully this will help you.